the field. You watching the game, Chad. There's a lot of Shedeur Sanders fans. What did you think of his first outing?
Listen, all the talk and the narratives and the storylines and whatever you want to say, sooner or later that ball's about to snap. And that young man we watched at Colorado, who's one of the best football players in the nation, is now looking like one of the best football players in the nation at another level. That's what it was. I knew the collusion and all the stuff, like I said, you want to go through. You saw what Shedeur Sanders was capable of. We all.
Yo, what it do, man? Welcome to another episode of Li+Sports, man. And today, man, we're talking Shedeur Sanders once again, man. And today, man, we're doing something a little different, man. We got two different opinions. We got one from Ryan Clark and the other one from Jason Whitlock. Now, you know they're on the two different sides of the spectrum when it comes to Shedeur Sanders. So first, we're going to listen to Ryan Clark, and then we're going to get in Jason Whitlock. And before we do that, make sure you like, subscribe, and please leave all comments below. Now let's get locked into the video.
Knew what Shedeur Sanders was capable of, and he's gonna show that he should start there. Flacco's there, Kenny Pickett was hurt, that little itty bitty boy from Oregon, whatever his name is.
Dylan Gabriel.
Gabriel, he's a itsy bitty spider. No. Shedeur Sanders is a ball player, fellas, and I love that he went out there. You can say what you want about that man. Sooner or later, that ball's about to snap in the middle of that field between that 100 and that 53, and we're gonna see what football is about, and Shedeur showed.
Yeah, no, Shedeur showed up. Well, in the words of Denny Green, he is who he thought he was. This is the same person we've seen the last 4 or 5 years from Jackson State to Colorado, always poised. I'm not just talking about on the field. He's always poised off the field. The interviewers, these reporters, they try and rattle him. You get all this stuff on social media. He's always Shedeur Sanders, smiling, respectful, knowledgeable, and that's what you get. Dion did an amazing job of not only raising just a beautiful young man in all capacity.
Right, I gotta agree with the pivot so far. Shedeur has handled all this, everything, the pressure. The first preseason game he has handled quite well. Again, I'm on the Shedeur bandwagon, so right now I'm in agreement with everything the Pivot Podcast is saying. Shedeur showed a lot of confidence. He was able to handle himself in every situation, whether it was third down or in the red zone, like I said in the previous video. So again, I'm on point with the Pivot Podcast so far.
But even more so, a football player who will not flinch. Shedeur got out there after all those injuries you mentioned to go from 4th on the depth chart to starting in the first preseason game. It was said earlier in the week, it was a setup. I think it was a setup. It was a setup for an opportunity to succeed and excel. And Shedeur.
I'm glad Fred Taylor said that because, like he said, everybody said it was set up, a sabotage. I didn't agree with that. The only thing it was a setup for him to go in and prove himself in which he did. Doesn't mean he's going to be the starter. Doesn't mean he's going to be a future Hall of Famer or a Pro Bowler. But for this moment, he went and handled himself well. And I'm with Fred. This wasn't a setup or sabotage.
Or he grasped it. He took full advantage of it, right? And he went out there. He made all us happy. We're going to always continue to root for him, like I say, man. So 1 down, 20 more to go this year or whatever. So the work's just getting started, man, but the opportunity presented itself, and he stole it, and, man, just going to keep going.
Yeah, there's a difference in between being humble and being humbled. Like the world tried to humble Shedeur Sanders, the drafters and the scouts and the evaluators, but he just used it to be humble in the way he went about work, the composure, the poise, and the way that he's handled his situation, being the 4th quarterback throughout this. He's not ruffled any feathers. He's shown that he could be a leader. He's shown that he understands he has to earn it. He's told Dion, hey, you got to wait. And the people talking about whether or not this opportunity is a setup, they don't understand ball. There is no success without an opportunity. Mm-hmm. And there is no such thing as luck when they say preparation meets opportunity. But this man's been preparing for this moment his entire life. And think about the amount of Shedeur Sanders jerseys that have been sold. Think about the way people watch that game. Those are not Cleveland Browns.
Okay, we're going to stop it right there. And like I say, I agree with everything the Pivot Podcast is saying. Shedeur handled himself real well in his first preseason game. But, and there's a but, there's the other side to this. everybody is not a Shedeur fan, and one person who I've been following over the last 3-4 years definitely is not a fan of Deion and Shedeur. That's Jason Whitlock. And now Jason Whitlock is not going to give us his perspective of what he saw Friday night in the first preseason game for Shedeur Sanders.
Well, Steve, despite an amazing, unprecedented 380-yard, 6 TD performance in his first preseason game, Shedeur Sanders did not move up the depth chart. There's a tweet on Cleveland's second depth chart. Go back, brother. Let me read this. On Cleveland's second depth chart of the summer, here is how the Browns are listing their quarterbacks this week. Joe Flacco, number 1. Kenny Pickett, number 2. Dylan Gabriel, number 3. And Shedeur Sanders, number 4.
Let me stop it real quick. And I'm not shocked. Again, that was a great preseason game. It was the first preseason game. But again, the team that they was playing, I think it was the Panthers. They starters only played one series. And again, they probably was only going 50 to 75%. I love how Shedeur played. And I'm like I said, I'm a big Shedeur fan. But one preseason game doesn't make you the starter of an NFL franchise. You must prove yourself more, not just in the game and also in practice. So, like I said, he's off to the right start, but at the same time, he has to prove more.
Steve, this is a case, I'm sure, of clear, unadulterated racism. How could that man play that well against Carolina and not race up the depth chart? What happened here?
The disrespect. The disrespect is blatant, and I'm outraged. This is no way to treat a current Pro Football Hall of Famer. Okay? And looking at that depth chart, though, Jason, seriously, so Dylan Gabriel is still number 3. I'm going to make a prediction. I believe with certain Cleveland Browns fans, Dylan Gabriel is going to be the most hated quarterback since John Elway. I'm just telling you, I actually feel bad for Dylan Gabriel. He's just a guy was probably overdrafted. I don't know if his game really translates to this level. He doesn't play. It is clear by the shots that they were showing in Carolina. Every time Shedeur did something good, they panned to the crowd, and I'd be like, wow, the Shedeur really does have a bit of a following, right? That fan base or that particular segment of it,
Right. I absolutely agree with him. Again, that's something Dylan Gabriel going to have to battle because Shedeur fan base is growing, especially after a performance like that. It's definitely through the roof. So Dylan Gabriel going to have to psych himself out to not to hear all this noise about Shedeur becoming the starting quarterback because it's like a freight train right now. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon. So it's interesting how Dylan Gabriel is going to play this out for the rest of the preseason.
do not want Dylan Gabriel, and it's to a point they probably don't even want Deshaun Watson to even try to play football again. Jason, I'm going to say it again. It's the most fascinating story of August.
It is the most complicated and somewhat compelling story or why people had this love affair. And I asked this question yesterday, and you know, what makes Shedeur so special? And I guess it's they have instantly turned him into a victim in terms of he you know, not getting drafted in the first round grants him victim status, and anybody that's a victim, we think, oh, that's a victim. He joined the victim club. It's like joining the right fraternity in college. Oh, I'm Kappa Alpha Psi, I'm Omega Psi Phi, I'm whatever. I'm now part of this in group, and we all there's a victimhood fraternity that once you get inducted into it, you get all these special benefits and privileges and support.
Okay, we're gonna stop it right there, man. Once again, you see the two different perspectives we have about Shedeur Sanders. You got the Pivot Podcast led by Ryan Clark. You got Jason Whitlock and his fearless crew. Again, What side you on? Get in the comments below. I'm on the side. I'm definitely rooting for Shedeur, but I want it to be right. I don't want him to be put in a bad position. I don't want him to be forced to be a starter when he's not ready. I want to see all the other quarterbacks, like I keep saying in the other videos, I want to see all the other quarterbacks get in the fold. I want to see them get an opportunity because I really believe the best thing for Shedeur is competition. And if he could prove that he could beat out 3 other quarterbacks, there'll be no doubt he's the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Well, to the next time, Li+Sports. And make sure you like, subscribe, and please, please, please leave all comments below. You already know.